get going. So, guys, Thursday we're gonna talk about a few things really quick. The biggest thing that on the poll for tonight was overcoming objections and appointment setting. Ironically, those two things are linked, right? And so let me run through a few slides. I was kind of putting some stuff together and just a few things for us to kind of like think about tonight. But let me hit this and we'll get this alive. Slideshow. Boom. Come to life. There we go. Some of you have seen this before, some of you haven't. But just think about this, right? Does the guy on the bottom have any idea that he's like one axe pick away from literally the mother lode? Does he have any clue? You can put in the chat, right? I hit record, Haley, don't worry. Does he have any clue? He has no clue because he can't see through the dirt, right? The guy at the top. He could be one axe pick away as well, but he doesn't know. The difference between those two, the guy at the top is still hungry. The guy at the top is still willing to do whatever it takes. The guy at the top doesn't care. He's just going to keep swinging that pick. The guy at the bottom, he got tired. He got tired. How much different would that dude at the bottom's life be if he had just done one more phone call, one more appointment set, one more person that reached out that you were worried was going to say no? Who cares? Guys, who cares? Because the difference between greatness, which is on that side of that one like pick stroke, and this dude going back to whatever he did before was one more. It's always the power of just one more. And you have no idea what that one more is going to be. And here's another way to look at it. Your business is always one recruit away from an explosion. One recruit away. Matt, you can turn your camera off, bro, like while you're eating. That's okay. I forgive you. And so will everybody else. But like you're one recruit away. You have no idea who that person's going to be, right? Andy and Brittany, before I came into the business, they were doing good. They were, owners. They were $300,000. And I'm not saying I completely changed their business, but Traylyn was here before I came around. She knows. When I came in, I rocked the boat. I pissed everybody off. I like got everybody, like I lit a fire under their butt because they were like, this brand new dude is not going to outdo us. But I did. And that's okay because me being like that competitive, it made everyone else get more competitive. And it was just better for everybody. And that's okay, right? So think about this. Like when you go to bed tonight, I want you to think about one more time, one more phone call, one more reach out, one more something, right? One more. Okay. Because this is what everybody voted on tonight. So overcoming objections, appointment setting. Now, recruiting and licensing, I'll still touch on some of those as well. I'm going to spend a lot of time on overcoming objections and appointment setting though. But before we get into that, let's do some admin, like some housekeeping type stuff. Guys, if you have not gotten into Andy's like massive texting platform, text redline to this number, right? If you are using our new agent like text when you come into the business, it's the top link that you click, it's okay. But if you're not in there yet, either scan that QR code or text redline to that number. That way, if Andy sends out information to the entire hierarchy, you'll get it. You're not going to get spam. It's not, trust me. Okay, so it's just in case he uses that. Everybody good? Clear as mud? Anybody else need it? Need a few more seconds? 3, 2, 1. If you need me to go back to it, just tell me. I'll go back to it. Okay. If you're not in band, jump into band, right? I don't generally push band early on because most people don't need it in the beginning and it's just one more thing. But band is a great place. There's calendars. If you're ever wondering where links are, we send them out, makes life easy. There's file storage there. We don't use band because honestly, because the communication, like messaging in band sucks. It's god awful. So we stick with Telegram. But if you want to jump in, that's where a lot of stuff happens. And if you're chasing contests and that sort of thing, you have to post production in there for it to count. Okay. But you've been told. All right, guys, who has seen any of the like red line to 2 million, fastest to 2 million? Have you guys seen any of that stuff? That right now is because Andy and Brittany have hit 1 million in income. Some of us have hit 300,000. Some of us are a little lower. But like every time your leader's income level jumps, so will yours. There's no way around it. Guys, when we went on the $1 million run, we produced two owners, I think like eight or nine $100,000 ring earners, four or five watches, all sorts of stuff. It was crazy. It's crazy because that's the business, right? Rising tides lift all boats. Okay. So this is what we're chasing, fastest to 2 million. These are the meetings. They never change. Sunday and Tuesday is the entire hierarchy. Sundays at 9, Sunday skills, Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Our meeting is just us. It's on Thursday. If you notice, right, there's only 24 of us. So we lost a few people. That's okay. The right 24 are here. All right. I don't have the Thursday one on here because this is the hierarchy slides, but Wolfpack is in the morning, guys, 8 to 9 Eastern, Monday through Friday. It's generally the leadership meeting, but if you want to come, text me, text your direct leader, whoever, and say, hey, what is this Wolfpack thing? Let me in. I want in. If you want more training, come. That's where you're going to get trained by me, Andy, Jessica Powers, Abby Schaffner, all the regional vice presidents at some point will be running training. Okay. I'm good, but sometimes people need to hear the same thing I say from Jessica or from Brittany or from Andy, whatever, right? So no offense taken. Okay. Here's Sunday skills, guys. If you're brand new or newer-ish, right? 101 or 201 is probably about where you need to be. We're coming up on week 4. So Wendy will be going over concepts. Abby's going to be going over mastering the orientation. If you're not licensed, you should not be in 2, 3, or 401. It's like a college class. Okay. If you're brand new and you feel like you need another orientation, stay with Casey in the main room. All right. When you get on Sunday, there will be breakout rooms. You go where you're needed. You're not allowed in my room unless you've passed your securities license, at least your SIE. Because if you haven't at least passed your SIE, there's no reason for you to be in my room. Okay. There's not. You need to be over here, like overcoming objections with Jessica Powers. Okay. Now, generally, I would tell you guys that you should be in 101 if you're not licensed yet. What I will tell you is if you're brand new and you want to jump into this 301 with overcoming objections with Jessica, by all means, that's a great one to sit through. Okay. Because we're gonna go over some of that stuff tonight. All right. ECBS. So Builder School, May 16th and 17th. Do not scan that and buy a ticket unless you talk to me first, because I bought us a block of tickets so that you can just get them for 25 bucks. You don't pay the fees, you don't pay all the other nonsense. You will go through that same link and buy a ticket, but you'll use my coupon code. It'll be free when you check out. You'll just send me 25 bucks. Saves you a bunch of money right now because the tickets are 30 something dollars plus fees. Okay. So I paid my own money. I went and bought $500 worth of tickets. So that way we have those, right? So you guys just pay me back. All right. Because right now they're 30, they're about to go up to 35. Not for you guys though, just right. Yes. So if you guys haven't gotten tickets yet, text me and I'll send you how to do it, and then we'll figure out payment on the backside. Okay. Listen, you need to come to ECBS. At a minimum, you need to get a ticket and listen to all of the training on Zoom and dial in. It's Zoom friendly, guys. Friday is going to be a few hours, and you can even do the MIT that we're going to talk about with, right? You can do the MIT if you earn it with Zoom. So the millionaires in training, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. Look at all these $1 million earners. Your coaches, Andy and Brittany, Jim Meyer, John Lavin, the Ortizes, Teschler, Charlemont, Assad Lowe's. All of these people make more than $1 million a year in the same exact business as you. Same business. And they're going to stand there and teach you about whatever it is that they want to teach you. But it's going to be good and it's going to be amazing. And Haley's 1,000% right. Big decisions are made at big events, guys. You have to, there is nothing like being there in person and seeing this. Nothing at all. Okay. So here's the solution numbers. The only one you need is mine, CNR3V, right? That's mine. Don't use any of the other ones. Listen, if you're coming in person right now, the competition is still going on for who's going to be staying in the house for free. The competition, look, it ends April 1st. So April 1st is month end for March production, April 1st at midnight. Okay. So all the way from now until then, I'm winning right now. Matt Rivera is winning. Haley told me she's thinking about winning and getting up there on top of the list. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But every bit of production that you do counts towards staying at the house for free. Haley, do me a favor. Can you unmute yourself? Did you get to stay in a pretty baller Airbnb with me and Andy and Brittany and Melissa when you came to Georgia?
It was kind of just me for a while too.
But how cool was it to come to an event in person and have somewhere to hang out with not only your regional vice president, but your friggin' national sales directors and million-dollar earners?
It's awesome. I mean, you get to talk to them on a one-on-one level and kind of get to know them more personally. Like I pick up something new every time I'm around them and just getting to sit down and talk to them. Getting to sit down and see them level my daughter is a whole different level. Like there's no words to explain how it feels to be around everyone in person.
Yeah. It's it's totally different, guys. So if you can physically get your butt down to Florida, you need to, right? If you can't, that's okay too. That's okay. You can still zoom in because even if you're just zooming in, that's okay. You're still getting the experience, right? You still need that. And oh, by the way, there will be two lottery winners. If you're coming to Florida and you did like one app, you're gonna get entered into the lottery. Look, so a 600 AP app, 600, so $50 a month, right? That's one entry. Anything 1200 plus, three entries. If you schedule your exam, one. If you pass your exam, it's 10. So Matt passed his exam and he's done a bunch of apps. Even if he doesn't win based on the premium, he's still got a hell of a good shot at winning based on all like the lottery tickets he's getting. You and a spouse, there's gonna be seven king beds, pool, patio. It's gonna be crazy. Crazy, right? So this is gonna be fun. Here's the biggest one right now because Andy just changed this over the weekend, right? So right now, any three apps that you do gets you into Millionaires in Training. You do not want to miss this. Okay. Three apps of 600, or if you do two big apps of 1,000 or more, you're in. You're in. You do not want to miss this because the same people that are going to be running the RVP locker room, whereas unless you're an RVP or an RVP spouse, you get kicked out. And we lock down with just us and the million-dollar earners, and it gets pretty raw in there, right? Some of y'all ain't ready for that level of coaching yet. It's okay. So we're going to give you like the baby version of that with Millionaires in Training. So everybody that earns it is going to be in the same room with regional vice presidents and those other $1 million a year earners. And you're going to get some amazing coaching, guys. Trust me, you need to be in this. You need to be in this. No license required. If you're unlicensed, your three apps during training that are going to build for your bonus and your promotions, those count. Those count. Okay. So don't miss that because look, here's the easiest ones. Your own stuff counts, right? Your spouse, your parents, kids, grandparents, nieces, nephews, all of that right now. Nieces and nephews, you technically don't have insurable interest on them. Your aunt or uncle has insurable interest on them, but you don't. Okay, so don't worry about that. But no license required. Three apps. Any questions on that before I move on? Yes, no, maybe. Put in the chat, unmute yourself. Any questions on how to earn this at all? Serena, no, this isn't just about scheduling. The scheduling is going to be for the $50 gift card that I'm gonna spin the wheel here in a little bit. So, oh, that's the end of the slideshow. All right. So I think we got everybody here that had an entry in the Wheel of Fun, right? Let me make sure I got one, two, three. We've got Dave on here. Dave's just did two. All right. So
Does SIE count as scheduling an exam?
yeah,
Just like, okay.
yep, sure does. It sure does. So all right, this is gonna be fun. So here's all the names. There's one entry on there for every appointment that somebody scheduled. So Matt, I got you on there, I think three times. Dave's on there twice. Gabby's on there three times. Taylor three times. Serena three times. I think I did it right. But Andy's little happy face here in the middle. So here we go. You ready for me to spin this thing? Somebody's gonna win 50 bucks right now. This is the $50 entry for the gift card. No. Oh, oh. Boom. Taylor? What this thing is being. There we go. Okay. Taylor, there you go. So Taylor, I will I will go two ways with it. You can either get your ECBS tickets for free because I've already paid for those. It's kind of easier on me, easier on you. It's still 50 bucks either way. Or if you just need one ticket, I'll get you one ticket and send you 25 bucks. You tell me what you want. Text me, girl. We'll figure it out. Okay. Whatever you want. We will figure that out. You already got your tickets. Well, guess what? Then you don't. Wait, did you already get your tickets? Did you cash out me? Well, God bless. Well, guess what? You're gonna get it back. So don't worry. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. So tonight, overcoming objections and appointment setting. Okay. The biggest thing that I need you guys to do, aside from listening to me tonight, is go and listen to the appointment setting audio. Webs, do me a favor, drop that thing in the Telegram so everybody has that. Guys, you have to listen to Ian's appointment setting audio. It's two things, right? One, you're going to get appointment setting out of it. And then two, on the back side of it, you're going to get overcoming objections with just generally. All right. Now, somebody give me an example who's, and because we're going to do this live because the best way to do it is just to do it live. Somebody do me a favor who has like, who asked one for help, but two, who's gotten an objection that they could not overcome, and let's do it live.
I
Let
got one.
Go for it. Hold on. Let me put you on. Burn. Gotta get you in the center, girl. What's up?
How can you help me overcome someone that has a life insurance policy that's term, good coverage, but they're still good for another 8 years, and they saw the value in it because they did it 15 years ago, but they don't want to re-up another one, even though they know they're underinsured.
Okay. So the way you overcome that is by mastering why Primerica at the kitchen table. Because in that video, Ian actually covers term versus term, right? But let me draw the picture for everybody because here's how you actually overcome that, guys. All right, where's my whiteboard? I used to have one. I do not like the new Zoom update. I don't like
No,
it.
I do not either.
Okay. So, Angela, listen, girl, I'm super excited that you already have coverage. And you said your current policy is done in 10 years, 8 years?
8.
How much coverage do you have?
100,000 on me, 20,000 on my spouse, and 20,000 on each of my two kids.
Okay, and all of that goes away in 8 years.
Yes.
Okay. How old are you right now?
47.
So you're 47. And so 55 is when your coverage goes away, yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, Angela, can you tell me without a shadow of a doubt that you know the day you turn 55 that your need for life insurance is going to go from 100,000 to zero overnight?
Nope, I cannot.
I would agree, right? And then, Angela, do you know in your current policy, when you get to that age and your coverage goes from 100,000 to zero overnight, what happens when you want to renew your policy?
I don't know. The person's never actually gotten back to me.
Can I teach you a little bit about what happens just generally with most policies?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Angela, with most policies, when you get to that end of term, your only option, well, I guess you kind of have three options. One, you have no more coverage. You do nothing. Two, you decide that you want more coverage. You have to do another medical exam, right? You have to hope that you're even insurable anymore. Because Angela, can you tell me for sure that when you turn 55, you're going to be as healthy as you are right now?
I like to think so, but not realistically.
Probably not, right? Like just generally, we're not designed to get healthier as we get older, am I right?
Correct.
Okay, so you're probably going to be a little less healthy and you're definitely going to be older. So the odds of you passing a medical exam and coming back with a great rating are probably pretty bad. Okay, so that's if you wanted a new term policy. The other option is, so one, you have nothing, right? Two is you get a new term, and then three, if you can't qualify for the new term, they're going to want to give you a cash value policy, right? I mean, Angela, you already have term. Would it make sense to get a whole life policy when you're 8 years older?
No.
No, why? Because the price is going to go through the roof, right? So, Angela, like for me, for my clients, I love that you already have coverage because if you got it 8, 7 years ago, whatever, it's pretty cheap. Am I right?
Yeah, it's $43.
Perfect. I love that. But if you don't know for a fact that when you turn 55, your need for insurance is going to go to zero, what I would say is let's get you another policy right now that starts right now, and we can run it for another 15, 20, even 25 or 30 years. You tell me how long you want, and we'll make it last. And the price is level. Okay. And then, Angela, however long we want that policy, when you get to the end with us, we have a lot of options. You can renew it. You can never be declined, regardless of what you have going on health-wise. You can convert it to decreasing term to 100, where your price will stay the same. Your coverage will just get lower as you get older. Because in reality, if you think about it, this is really more like what life is like, right? You get to a certain age, you start getting older, you need less insurance as you get older. Does that seem fair?
Hmm.
So what I'd like to do today is I'd like to lock you in with an application while you're as young and as healthy as you're ever going to be. Would that make sense?
Yep.
Perfect. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to just apply and see how it's going to come back. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Awesome. Who do you want your beneficiary to be?
It'll be my spouse.
Perfect. That's how you do it. And then
Thank
if
you.
if you get through all of that and they still say, "Nah, I'm all set." Can't help everybody. You
We're
can't.
actually doing, I did the KT earlier. We're doing a follow-up Sunday afternoon to do a mobile FNA
Good.
because they want to save money too. So hopefully with that, and because he even said like because he needs like roughly 500,000, and he's like, I'm super underinsured, and I was like, but you have some, and some is better than none.
And that and yeah.
He was more worried about having to make another payment.
Okay, right. I'd be less worried about having to make another. And guys, affirm, answer, close. Write this down. Affirm, answer, close. Whatever they tell you, you have to give it back to them in a positive light, right? So, Angela, listen, I totally understand that having another payment is really not ideal, right? But let's just say that God forbid something happens and you don't have enough coverage. You wouldn't really be worried about that other payment if your family was going to get like another 250,000 on top of what you have already. Am I right?
Correct.
Because life insurance is just that. It's just in case, right? And if we know that you're underinsured, and I mean, we already talked about this, is insurance ever going to get cheaper as you get older?
Nope.
So wouldn't it make sense to at least put in the application now and just see how it comes back?
For sure.
Perfect. So in reality, I think that's what we should do. And I get it. It's another payment, but how many payments do you have right now that you just set up and let auto draft?
Yep.
Probably a lot, right? And if we're doing it to protect the family and make sure that they're taken care of, God forbid something happens to you, is it really that big of a deal once it's set on auto draft? Awesome.
Nope.
Let's just put this application in, see how it comes back. Guys, when you do it that way, it doesn't really feel like you're selling anybody something. They already see the value. They've already got it somewhere else, right? So you got to just help that process. You got to help them through that process. Most people are just spring loaded to no. They don't even know why. They just are, right? So it's our job to help like just move them through that decision-making process. And that's why we use the A diagram, because the A diagram helps the customer and the client feel way more comfortable when they understand the process. That edification is what truly makes it like, oh, this isn't a big deal. It's just an application, right? aside from the people that have trained with me, who knows what an A diagram is? Traylon, you don't get to answer, right? Has anyone not seen an A diagram yet? Let's do it that way, because there should be some new people in here that haven't seen one yet. Somebody? Well, Jessica, I know you
Taylor
do.
probably hasn't.
Okay. So Taylor, I'm gonna do this for you. So if we were doing the application for Angela's guy, right? It would be just like this. And Angela, you can unmute yourself. So Angela, what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna explain the application process really quick. Okay. So
Mhm.
do you guys own your house?
Yes.
Yeah. So you understand what escrow is, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So when we submit this application and we process it and make that first payment, we're gonna get your coverage started for that 250,000. And you're actually gonna get somewhere between 30 and 90 days of conditional coverage for the first draft. Okay. Whoever's drawing on my stuff, please stop.
Oops, sorry, that might have been me. I moved my mouse off.
Yeah, you're good. I'll fix it. That's okay. I will fix it. There we go. And I don't know why there's an extra E up there, but I'll fix that too. So that conditional coverage is going to start like as soon as that money drafts out of your checking account, your conditional coverage begins. Okay. So A for application, listen, it's March, it's like the end of March, April, May. Okay. So it's what, the 20th? So it's almost the end of March. We're going to submit your application today. When that money drafts, your coverage starts. We're going to schedule your medical exam for some time in the next, 10 days or so. And then your policy will issue probably about 10 days after the results, which is about another 10 days, right? So somewhere 2 weeks-ish, kind of in between each step. So when that policy issues, this money that's been in escrow, Angela, is going to come up and pay your policy into the next billing cycle. So on this timeline, you actually won't even have another draft of your policy until sometime in June. And we get to pick the date.
Wow.
Anything from the 1st to 20th, but you've been covered all the way through conditionally. All the way
That's
up to
pretty cool.
pretty cool, right? All the way up to your 250,000. Now, God forbid something happened to you, even during underwriting, we're going to send your wife a check for 250,000. We're keeping the $100. It's a pretty fair trade, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. So this is an application. Angela, have you ever applied for anything? Like, where'd you go to school?
I did not go to school.
Okay, have you applied for a job before?
Yep, credit cards too.
Oh, nice. When you applied for those things, did they have to accept you? Look at my head, guys.
Nope, they did not.
They didn't have to. So this is just an application. We don't have to accept you either. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so there's kind of two options, right? Like I can tell you no. Well, I won't. I'll always tell you yes. But underwriting and those guys can tell you no, right? Or we can tell you yes. And if we submit the application and it comes back and we end up telling you no for whatever reason, we're going to send you a letter. We're going to say sorry, and we're going to send you all of your money back. There's no risk. It's just an application, right? Now, in a perfect world, it'll come back and we'll say yes, and everything will be gravy. It might even come back better. I mean, if it came back cheaper, Angela, would you ever be mad at me?
No, absolutely not.
Well, I mean, it could, but we won't know until we submit the application and go through the whole process. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. When your policy issues, we're going to get back together. We're going to go over everything. I want you to see that you got a 250,000 for however long we said. It's level, right? The price doesn't change. I want you to see that you've got either 40 or 70% of your policy. Let's just assume he's older, right? So 40%. So you've got 100 grand in cash that you could access tax-free. God forbid you ever got diagnosed with a terminal illness. Like you go to the doctor and find out you got 6 months to live tomorrow. Angela, do you have 100 grand that you can tap into right now?
Not completely, no.
Now you do, right? It's just built into our policy. It's called the terminal illness benefit. Okay. Now, look, I know this looks like a crazy bad football play, but any questions on this?
No.
Pretty clear, right?
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever used a DocuSign before to do an application or anything?
Yep, that's how we bought our house.
Nice. That's what we use too, right? Super simple. So we'll get the application going. We're just going to apply and see how it comes back. Sound good?
Mhm.
And you said you wanted your spouse to be your beneficiary?
Yep.
Perfect. I'll get that pulled up. We'll get that rock and take about 15 minutes. Guys, you explain it that way so that people see it. They're like, oh, this is not a big deal. I'm not going to pay again and pay again. Like, that's what a lot of people are worried about. They're worried about like paying right now, paying again next month, paying again until they even know what it's going to be. Say no, nothing like that at all, right? Super simple, super simple. But you have to edify the client. They have to know the process. They're way more comfortable when they know the process. Okay. Give me one more objection. We'll overcome it, and then we'll talk about some appointment setting really quick. Who else? Who's got another objection that they haven't been able to overcome, or one that they've gotten multiple times, and they're like, "How the hell do I even deal with this?"
I one yesterday that I want to know if I handled it right.
Good.
So they are expecting their third child. Their money's tight, right? He said like $50 a month. Couldn't get any coverage in there. But he said if he could get car insurance lower and
Mhm.
save the money there, that he would get reach back out. So I had Stan send him the information, and he's
Perfect.
going to reach back out when the budget gets a little bit better.
So that's where you actually can recommend that and actually get the application in too.
Okay.
So, I mean, Haley, listen, I know you said your shoebox money is only like $50 a month, right? So we're talking like 12.50 a paycheck every
He only
week.
gets paid once a month.
Oh, so he gets paid once a month. Okay, no worries. So $50 a month, everything's tight. What would happen right now? Because you're the primary breadwinner, I assume, yeah? What would happen right now if something happened to you? If money's already that tight, if you don't come home next week, what happens then? Because for $50 a month, I can probably get you at least 150,000 in coverage, right? So for me, the most important thing is making sure you have something. I would rather get you something right now, get you at least conditionally covered, and then let's see how the car insurance comes back. Because if that comes back cheap and we save you some more money, we can just always add you some more coverage. My biggest thing is you're drastically underinsured right now. I would rather you just have something because something's better than nothing, am I right?
Right. So the thing with that was he didn't want to cover himself and not cover his wife. He didn't want to cover not both of them. He wanted to cover both of them. So to
I
fit in that box, we could have only applied for one.
listen, I get it, but does she work? Okay, but who's the primary income?
So their incomes are almost equal.
Hmm, that's a rough one.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. But listen, I totally understand not wanting to do like one and not the other. But let's be honest. If we've got about $50 to play with, wouldn't it make sense to have at least one of you covered? God forbid something happened, and then shut up.
Okay.
You got to wait for an answer. Like when you ask a question like that, guys, and this is where skilling up comes. Like when you ask a question like that, you have to learn to, even if it's uncomfortable, even if the silence is like long, you got to shut up and wait for an
Yeah.
answer. Because in that kind of situation, the first one to talk loses. If I ask you that question and I give you that like Kermit the Frog thing, and I'm waiting, right? Like, but you literally have to shut up. You have to shut up and let them answer and let them sit in it, right? Because that makes no sense. If the money's there and they see the value in it, only covering nobody versus covering one of them,
Yeah.
yeah. Who has more like a more dangerous job? Who does are they both teachers, right?
He works out at SRS. I don't remember what she did.
If you're working at a nuclear site, your butt should be covered. Like, let's be honest. Come on now.
Yeah.
All right. One more. I got 3 minutes. We'll knock out one more. Who else? Give me somebody new. Who's brand new-ish and has had trouble like just getting someone to even set an appointment. Because we'll take this from like overcoming objections into appointment setting. Who's had trouble getting some appointments scheduled? Something. Anybody? Nobody? Everybody can schedule appointments. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Cool. All right. We should have had a whole lot more people on that wheel of appointments then if there's not any problems setting appointments, right?
Angela, do you want to give him our objective for our policy delivery tonight?
No, I don't want to get into that because I want to actually like get to the appointment setting side of things. But guys, like you got to be able to talk, right? Because they listen, this is a talk business, and you got to be able to talk. That's why I'm not showing you slides. I'm giving you talk because you need to hear it because that's what changes. Like when you start saying this stuff out loud is when it actually changes. Okay. So what? Nobody?
I can give them one I saw a lot at the beginning. Was they have coverage, but it's whole.
They have what?
They have coverage, but it's whole life and go in between those.
That's okay. Cheyenne, you keep getting, I need to talk to my spouse and get back with you. Perfect. I've been waiting for this one. Thank God. Hey, Cheyenne, listen, and Haley, you can unmute because Cheyenne's dealing with the baby. Hey, Haley, listen, I totally understand you need to talk to Philip before we said anything. But let's be honest, just generally, you probably know Philip's schedule better than Philip does. Am I right? Okay. And if you said it was important to you and you put something on the calendar that you were doing a friend a favor, if you tell them it's important, they're probably going to show up for you, right? Awesome. So, I mean, just generally, when's best for you and Philip at the same time? Is it like weekdays or weekends? Now, stop before you answer. We just went through some serious, like big nuggets of information. Just generally, okay? Just generally will open every door because it makes everyone feel like, oh, we're just kind of talking in like basic generalities here. Okay. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to pull up my calendar as if we were going to set an appointment, and then we're going to do all of this like kind of at the same time. Okay. So everybody sees my calendar right now. Yeah. Okay, good. So if you're setting a client appointment, you should be on a free quote financial consultation with your trainer's calendar open. And then anything that's in blue means that there's an open time in here and you can book it. Okay. So let's go back again. So Haley, like just generally, when's better for you and Philip? Is it weekdays or weekends?
Depends on the week, but we'll just say weekends.
Okay, yeah, weekends are good. So like Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday
Perfect. You want like morning or afternoon?
afternoon.
Perfect. Listen, I'm just going to pencil you in for Saturday at 1 o'clock. And if something changes, do me a favor, just call me and we'll get it moved. Is that good?
Sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Listen, I just need to make sure I got the right email for you. Yada, yada, yada. And I already got your phone number, obviously, because we're talking right now. And so let me fill out some information. Y'all are married, age, guys, add yourself as a guest. Okay, that way you get the Zoom link and you get all that information as well. But that's how you do it. Just generally, and then a whole bunch of yes, yes responses. Okay. Because for most of you, you should be on your like top three, your easy three, your top five from your wedding list, whoever those people are. Okay. Coordinating schedules for KTs is difficult. It is. It is because you got to be there, and so do they. You got to be, because if you're not there, it's really hard for your trainer to talk to that potential client and say, hey, thank you so much for showing up for Andrea's training. She's not here. It doesn't have the same sort of like wow factor for them, right? They don't feel like they're helping you if you're not there, right? But you got to still set those appointments. It's okay. So listen, just generally, let's go back, right? Let's restructure this a little bit. So I am gonna draw this, right? So generally, you're going to get some sort of objection, right? An objection is just a complaint, right? So you have to affirm, answer, close, and then just generally, and then you're going into yes, yes options. Okay. So, hey, Haley, listen, I totally get it. Whenever I set appointments or I do anything, I always check with Melissa first too. Now we're on the same side of the fence. But let's be honest, just generally, if you asked Philip to be somewhere and he knew it was important to you, he would be there. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah. So just generally, When do you and Philip's schedules line up? Weekdays or weekends?
Weekends.
Weekends. Perfect. So like Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday, perfect. Do you want morning or afternoon?
Afternoon.
Awesome. Like 1 or 2 o'clock.
2.
Perfect. Listen, I'm just going to pencil you in for 2 o'clock. My regional vice president is going to actually run the appointment for me. You wouldn't like stand me up on a Saturday afternoon in front of my regional VP, would you?
No.
Awesome. So if we need to change anything, that's okay. Just please like let me know ahead of time and we'll get it moved. But don't make me look bad in front of my regional vice president, okay? Listen, it's going to be on Zoom. It's super simple. It'll take like 30 minutes. If you like it, great. And if not, great. That's okay because you'll at least know more about what I'm doing. Sound good? Awesome. I'll see you then. That's it. That's it. Now, the biggest thing that we didn't talk about yet was that this is a phone call. Phone call. Oh, why is it so small? Yeah, ridiculous. Phone call. You have to be on the phone with somebody, guys. Doing this over a text message is almost impossible. Almost. Now, depending on who you're talking to, you can get a lot of stuff done over text message. You can, but it doesn't have the same weight as when you're talking to someone on the phone. You can do it over a text message if you're talking to like your mom and you say, Mom, I need you to do this for me. And she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Okay. But if you come up against any kind of objection at all, can you is it going to be easy to overcome that over text? No, because as soon as someone gives you an objection on a text message, do you think they are going to keep responding to you? No, y'all about to get left on red. And then you're going to feel weird because you're going to reach back out to them and you're still going to get left on red. It needs to be a phone call. Okay. It has to be a phone call. Okay. So that's appointment setting, overcoming objections, recruiting, and some licensing stuff was on there as well. Guys, recruiting is social media, period. It's the easiest way to do it. Your social media is also your business card, right? It's like your calling card. It's like your digital calling card. So let me do something really quick because we might go over, if we go over and y'all got to bounce, then bounce, right? But check this out. Let's see. I was working with Serena earlier and I know she cleaned some stuff up, but I want to use Serena just because she's had a big explosion in the beginning. She had some stuff going on, but look, 944 friends. So that's pretty good. Now she can do better. You should always be adding 25 to 50 macho mutual friends every day. Okay. Because eventually you need to get into new markets. So keep adding friends, right? Change your cover photo. That looks good. Her personal post is down. It got taken down. That's okay, right? A little bit too much business. That's okay. Generally, we want family business, but there was a lot going on. So Serena did good. She went and cleaned up a bunch of things. Who else? Let's see. Taylor. Let's mess with Taylor's real quick. All right. So 680 friends. So Taylor, we can always add more, right? Now you want to be adding macho friends. So people that are married with kids. You don't want to be adding your buddy that, you used to get drunk with in high school and college. That he's not the one for this. Okay. So a couple things. It's pinned. Perfect. It's public. And the post is up. 16 comments and 3 shares. So Taylor, the biggest thing that I can give you in terms of how to like help make this thing explode more is you got to get this up to like 20. You get this thing up to 20 public shares and these are going to go, they're going to go crazy. All right. Now, just for everybody else, right? Whenever we get a comment on a post, it should be hearted. And then you should reply to that with a question. Look, can I DM you some details? Perfect. You nailed it. Because guys, when you ask someone a question, what do they generally do? They respond, right? So boom, right there. And that's it. You don't need to like do 2, 3, 4 more messages underneath that because it's going to get weird, right? Now, what's going on here? Did we miss one or did I just not have it on there? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Nice. So look, guys, ask a question, people respond. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. If you never ask the question, they're never going to respond, right? So like Miss Trillo was interested, didn't ask a question here, didn't even give her the chance to respond, right? So it's okay. That was probably like the first one, right? But that's where you got to like get in there. It's got to be public. You need to get up to 20 shares at a minimum in the beginning. Set small goal, right? Make it 5, then make it 10, then 15, then 20, right? But that's how it has to, like, that's how you have to go with it, because if your immediate market isn't seeing it and it doesn't get a huge kind of bump, then you need to get into new markets. Okay. Think about it like this, guys. Anything that you post on Facebook, 5 to 8% of your friends will see it. So let's run numbers really quick. Right? If 5 to 8%, let's just say 5% are going to see it. Well, Taylor had what, 688 friends times 5%? That means 34 people saw it. She had like 7 distinct comments that were actual people, not people from the business, and not replies, or 6. That's about the conversion rate. If 34 people see it, about, you know, I don't know, less than a quarter of those will actually respond, which is about right. So if we know that about a quarter are going to respond, we need more people to see it to generate more like clicks, right? Guys, it's just marketing. It's all a funnel. It's just marketing. It's okay, right? But when you understand the process, it's way easier to run through that, okay? Yes, do not ever share it yourself. Thank you. Great point. Because when you share it yourself, it's just going to go right underneath your pinned post and it's going to look really weird, right? How do you share it? You just ask a friend. Hey, Traylon, listen, girl, you probably saw it on my Facebook. I'm trying to like expand my business a little bit. Would you do me a favor? Would you just share my post? You might know somebody looking. You just got to ask for help, right? You're asking for help. If you want to get really creative with it, you can send somebody a text and be like, hey girl, if you do me a favor, would you share my post? I'm running a raffle for a gift card. I'll throw your name in there for like a $10 Starbucks card. Guys, people will go ham for a $10 Starbucks card. I promise you. And it's just a chance at it, right? They'll do anything, right? Especially if they're already your friends and you're already asking for help. Do it. Do it. But you got to ask. Make the ask. You have to. If you never ask, no one can help you, right? That's just the way it goes. So you got to make the ask. And literally, you're just asking for a favor. And when they post it, see if they'll make it public, because that way it can get actually shared and you can see. Because if a friend of yours shares your post, but they don't share it publicly, and somebody comments on it that's not your friend, you'll never see it. You'll never see it. So here's the last thing I want you guys to think about really quick is on the social media side of things, and then I'll jump into some licensing for anybody that looks or needs it. I can stay longer for people that just need licensing. On the social media side, you need to make sure that your Facebook settings are set to review tags. Okay. What that means is if someone is going to make a post for you, you don't want it going to your wall. You don't want to see a whole bunch of like opportunity posts. Like if you go look at my Facebook right now, well, let's just do it. If you look at my Facebook right now, you will not see any opportunity posts from any of you guys. But I'm tagged in all of your posts, right? So some business winning, we like that, right? Family, business. Hey, look at that. What do you know? Sometimes the ratios work out right. But look, there's none of your guys' stuff on here, but I'm tagged in all of them, right? So here we go, saved, right? Look at this, saved. I have all of your guys' posts saved. How do you think I can always like out of nowhere, like come in and check on it, and then all of a sudden you guys are like, oh, I didn't even see that, coach. Because I go stalk your stuff, but I'm not like searching by names. I could just go to there and I go, right? I am Batman. I don't sleep, in case you wonder. right? No, I do sleep, not much sleep. But guys, like that's what you have to do. And like, listen, if some of your brains are exploding right now because it seems like so much, don't freak out. There's levels to the business, guys. In the beginning, your only job, if you're brand new, is get your license and set some appointments. And then show up to your appointments. Right? Because if you don't show up to your appointments, it's really hard to get you the training, right? And then smile and nod. Guys, if you get 3 recruits and we do 3,000 in premium, which is not hard, you're going to make a $600 bonus plus the 50 just for logging into your app. And that's a 50% commission contract forever. Now watch this. You do that again when you're licensed for somebody, you're at a 50% contract and you write 3,000 in premium. Well, the math is pretty easy. You just made 1,500 bucks, right? But if you are a district already and you are helping people, you're probably going to be at a 60% contract, so you'll have made 1,800. Guys, like for most of you right now, how long would it take you to make $1,800 in your current job? Matt said 2 weeks, right? A month. You guys, you could do that in a weekend. You could literally do it in a weekend, right? Before we went to DC, I closed $5,000 in premium in a night. I'm telling you, you can do it in a weekend, but you can't do it without a pipeline. You can't do it without activity. You can't do it without a team, right? If your only goal in this business is to make an extra 400 or 500 bucks a month, you can do that on your own. I promise you. You can find 1 client a month, maybe 2, and you can make an extra 300 to 700 bucks a month. I promise you, it's easy. You can totally do it. But if your goal is to replace what you're doing with this, then you have to build distribution. You have to build a team, right? We have agents that have been licensed for like a year. They pop their head up, write 1, maybe 2 apps a month. That's still production. But think about 2-3 years from now, guys, when we have 100 people that just pop their head up and write 1 or 2 apps a month. That means the base is going to be doing somewhere between 70 and 80,000 in premium by 1 person popping their head up and writing an app. That's a life where you have 1% of your income coming from 100. And that's why you need to be a business owner. Because right now, for most of us, our incomes are 100% off of 1. And God forbid something happens to you, your income is 0. That's the difference. Okay. But that's the power of what being a business owner can build for you. All right. Now, I know we're a minute over. If some of you guys got to go and you don't want to learn about licensing, by all means, bounce, dip. For those of you that need licensing and stuff, stick around. We'll cover that. For those of you that asked for licensing, what specifically about licensing can I help you with? Anybody? Nobody? Nothing. Okay. People ask for licensing, so that's why I talked about it. Studying. Okay. The best way to study for your exam is to get through the curriculum as fast as you can, like the chapters, right? You have 6 chapters for most of us. Taylor, you're in California. I'm sorry, girl. You have like 80 bajillion chapters and you need 32 hours in the friggin' modules.
She's through the chapters. You just got to get the hours.
Okay, so the best thing, Taylor, for you to do is get into the practice, certificate, readiness, whatever you have for California, and just take those exams because that time is going to log for you. And then also, and I'll show this live really quick, you need to get into the modules, right? Get into the modules and start working through the modules. Get into POL and start just watching the videos in terms of like locking in the information. But the problem with that for California is that it doesn't count toward your time. So life licensing, get your life license. Come down here to education, pick your state. Study resources. There's different ones, right? You have live review sessions with coaches, topic specific, state specific, pre-recorded sessions. And then different study tools. Okay, there's flashcards that pre-built for you. There's test taking tips, acronyms, all sorts of stuff, right? Exam student prep materials or whatever. Guys, that's going to be your state specific PDF study module. Look, California. Oh, it changed on me. God bless. I clicked it and that's what showed up, right? California exam prep. Taylor, I'll send you this since I just downloaded it. But guys, all of your different states have that exact same material already built in. Okay. So let me back up, right? POL, life licensing, get your life license, and then go to your state, go to education, pre-licensing education, California, study resources. This is the easiest way to study once you finish the chapters and the exams, okay? These state-specific recorded sessions are amazing because you can get through all of the curriculum in about 3 hours. That's the best way to study. And just keep taking the test over and over and over. Because if you keep taking that test over and over and over, you're going to be prepared for the actual exam. In the practice exam version on Exam FX, you can do a practice test for study and exam mode. There's 2 ways to do it. The first time you should do it in study mode because you'll click an answer, it'll give you like instant feedback. It tells you if you're right or wrong, and it tells you the answer and where to study. And if you're answering it and you're like, yep, got that, well, God bless, don't study it anymore. Because if it's already in your brain, it's good. Don't mess with it. Like don't mess with the juju, right? But if you keep getting it wrong, for most of you, it will be annuities and like retirement planning stuff. That's where most of you in the beginning are going to screw up. That and some like weird state law specific stuff. It's okay. That's normal. Get through the exams and let the exam itself tell you where to study. If you're getting 100% or like 75s, 80s in certain sections, quit studying those. You're good. Go study the stuff that's kicking your teeth in and get up to that 70 or 80% on those. Okay. Now, some of you overachievers, quit trying to get 100. Nobody cares, Haley. Nobody cares. If you're getting 80s consistently, you're good. Because when you pass, you're going to get a 70 or above, and your score sheet is just going to say pass. That's it.
Yeah, you had to tell me that before I took it.
You're never going to get a score. It's never going to tell you, and you're not like even on your investment exams, it's just going to say pass, and you're going to be mad because you're going to want a score. You're not going to get one. Sorry. That's just the way it is. But yeah, guys, the best way to study for the exam is take the exam over and over and over and let the exam tell you where you need to study. Okay. Get to that point quickly by getting through the chapters as fast as you can. For most of you, you have 6 chapters. There's 6 chapters in most states. That should be like an hour to 90 minutes per chapter max. You should be able to get through the entire curriculum in 10 hours. 6 hours per chapter, chapters total, hour per chapter, 6 hours total. 2 hours for the practice, 2 hours for the readiness exam. It's 10 hours. That's as fast as I want you to get through it. And then keep taking the exams over and over and over. Because if you don't get through pre-licensing with your chapters and your exams, you lose your bonus. Don't do that. You got 60 days to get through that stuff. Okay. The faster you get through it, the better. Because you want to be able to give yourself a chance to take your exam on the backside. God forbid you screw it up the first time. 50% of people will need to take it again. That's just normal. If you take it the first time and fail it, it's okay. It's okay. It's rare people pass on the first time. It's like a coin toss. Because it could be like 1 or 2 questions. It's okay. If you have to take it again, it's fine. That's why the readiness exam gives you a second shot. Get a 75% on your readiness exam during training, right? And then you can schedule your exam for free. And if you pass, or if you fail it with, I think like a 65, then you can take it again for free. Because if you're passing the readiness exam, you should be passing the actual exam. Okay. Yes. Oh God, Shannon, thank you so much. Schedule your freaking exam. Get it on the calendar. Get through the stuff and just schedule the exam. And this applies for investment exams too. Because you will not take it seriously until there's a mark on the wall and you have like a countdown. and you have that no kidding thing staring you down, schedule your exam. And guys, if you want to just go schedule it, well, great, schedule it, and then when you pass, you'll get reimbursed for the exam fee. Once, okay? Questions? I know we're now 9 minutes over, but I wanted to give everybody a shot, and I didn't make you stay. It's recorded. I have proof. I said you could leave if you wanted to. Anything else?